Fast fashion is everywhere. Discounted clothes, endless trends, a constant need to keep up. The industry thrives on impulse buys, on making us feel incomplete, but this apparent growth hides a dark truth. It's an illusion built on exploitation. Fast fashion brands lure us in with low prices. They promise style and affordability. But the real cost is hidden, a system that encourages overconsumption and treats clothing as disposable. The cycle is relentless. Buy, wear, discard, repeat. Driven by the relentless pace of fast fashion, producing more clothes than ever before. It's paid for in environmental damage, in human suffering, and in a future drowning in waste. We're drowning in a sea of clothes we don't need. This isn't about reaching to the top. It's a race of clothes to reach the bottom of the landfills. Every year, millions of tons of textiles wasted. Mountains of discarded clothing, piles of unsold garments. A global crisis that is growing every day. Clothes are discarded into waste, often after being worn just a few times, not only unsightly, but also incredibly harmful to our environment. This is the true face of fast fashion. Mountains of waste that our planet cannot sustain. A system built on disposability, where clothes are worn a handful of times, then tossed aside. This throwaway culture is not just wasteful, but also deeply unsustainable. These landfills are not just filling up, they are overflowing, creating an environmental disaster that is difficult to manage. These garments decompose slowly, releasing harmful gases, polluting our soil. The chemicals used in textile production leach into the ground, contaminating water. The environmental toll is staggering. The sheer volume of waste is overwhelming our planet's ability to cope, leading to long-term damage. And it's not just the waste. The production process itself is incredibly resource-intensive and polluting. Factories emit large amounts of other pollutants, contributing to climate change. The production process itself is incredibly resource-intensive. From energy used to run factories to the chemicals involved in dyeing fabrics, every step of the process has a significant impact. Vast amounts of water are used for growing cotton and dyeing fabrics, often leaving behind toxic waste. This not only depletes our water resources, but also introduces harmful substances into our ecosystems. Fast fashion's insatiable appetite for new trends fuels this cycle of waste. The constant demand for new styles means that clothes are produced quickly and cheaply, with little regard for the environmental cost. It's time to break free from this destructive pattern. We need to rethink our approach to fast fashion. It must no longer rely pushing the responsibility of utilization onto others through donation. Instead, by supporting sustainable fashion initiatives and making more conscious choices, we can reduce our impact on the planet and create a more sustainable future for all. The fashion industry is a major polluter, second only to the oil industry. It's a thirsty industry, consuming vast quantities of water, leaving behind a trail of toxic waste. Textile dyeing is a major culprit. The dyes used often contain harmful chemicals. These chemicals pollute rivers and streams, poisoning aquatic life, threatening human health. And then there's the issue of carbon emissions. The fashion industry is a major contributor to climate change. From the production of raw materials to shipping garments around the globe, the industry's carbon footprint is enormous. Fast fashion is fueling this environmental crisis. It's time for a radical shift towards sustainable practices, towards a circular economy. Behind the glossy facade of fast fashion lies a harsh reality. The clothes we buy for a few dollars come at a much higher cost. A reality of exploited workers, of unsafe working conditions, of poverty wages. These workers often endure long hours in unhygienic environments, with little to no job security. The fast fashion industry relies on cheap labor, primarily in developing countries. These countries often lack stringent labor laws. Workers, often young women, toil long hours in cramped factories. They are frequently exposed to harmful chemicals and sophisticated machinery without even adequate lighting. They are paid poverty wages, denied basic rights, their voices silenced. Many of these workers live in extreme poverty, struggling to provide for their families. The Rana Plaza disaster in Bangladesh exposed the human cost of our cheap clothes. Building collapses like these reflect the tragic consequence of relentless pursuit of profit over people. Such disasters are wake-up calls, Yet, despite the outcry, many brands continue to prioritize profits over ethical practices. It's time to demand better, even for those who make our clothes. We must push for greater transparency, fair wages, and safe working conditions. Only then can we ensure that the true cost of fashion is not paid with human lives. Apart from all that is already bad about the industry, there is something still worse: microplastics. They're invisible to the naked eye, but their impact is far-reaching. Microplastics, tiny particles of plastic, shedding from synthetic fabrics, polluting our oceans, entering our food chain. Every time we wash a garment made from synthetic fibers, like polyester, tiny plastic fibers are released into the water. These microplastics flow into our rivers, lakes, and oceans. They are ingested by marine life, entering the food chain. The long-term consequences of microplastic pollution are still unknown, but the potential for harm is significant. We need to reduce our reliance on synthetic fabrics, choose natural, biodegradable materials, protect our oceans. Awareness really affects our choice. Amidst the environmental damage and ethical concerns, a new movement is emerging. A movement demanding change, a movement embracing sustainability, a movement towards conscious clothing. Consumers are becoming more aware of the impact of their choices. They are demanding transparency from brands. They are seeking out ethical and sustainable alternatives. This growing demand is fueling the rise of conscious clothing. Sustainable brands are popping up, offering eco-friendly materials and ethical production practices. Second-hand clothing is gaining popularity. Consumers are embracing slow fashion, choosing quality over quantity. The fashion industry is slowly starting to listen, but we need to keep pushing for change. So can fashion ever be sustainable? Sustainable fashion is more than just a trend. It's a movement that is gaining momentum across the globe, driven by a growing awareness of the environmental and social impacts of the fashion industry. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about clothing. Instead of the disposable mindset, sustainable fashion encourages us to value our garments and the resources that go into making them. It's about choosing quality over quantity, investing in pieces that are timeless, durable, and made with care, rather than chasing fleeting trends. It's about respecting the environment and the people who make our clothes. This means ensuring safe working conditions, fair wages, and sustainable farming practices. Organic materials like organic cotton and hemp are crucial to sustainable fashion. These kinds of indigenous materials helps to retain soil health and biodiversity. Grown without harmful pesticides and fertilizers, less water, and by protecting the health of farmers and the environment. This not only benefits the planet, but also the local communities. Recycled fabrics offer another sustainable solution. By repurposing existing materials, we can significantly cut down on waste and reduce the need for new resources. Using pre-existing materials reduces waste, lessens the demand for virgin resources, and minimizes the environmental impact of clothing production. Fair trade practices are at the heart of sustainable fashion. They ensure that the people who make our clothes are treated with dignity and respect, ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions for garment workers, empowering communities. This creates a positive cycle of economic growth and social development, breaking the cycle of poverty. Sustainable fashion is not just about the clothes we wear, but about creating a better world for everyone involved in the process. Consumers hold immense power. The power to influence the fashion industry, the power to demand change, the power to create a more sustainable future. By making conscious choices, we can drive the demand for sustainable fashion. We can support ethical brands. We can choose environmentally friendly materials. We can break free from the cycle of fast fashion, support brands that prioritize transparency and traceability, research their supply chains, ask questions about their environmental and ethical practices, hold them accountable. Embrace the power of your wallet. Every purchase is a vote for the kind of fashion industry we want to see. The future of fashion is in our hands. It's time to move away from the destructive cycle of fast fashion, to embrace a more sustainable and ethical approach to clothing. Choose quality over quantity. Invest in timeless pieces that will last. Repair and care for your clothes. Embrace second-hand clothing. Rent special occasion outfits. Support sustainable brands. Choose organic and recycled materials. Look for fair trade certifications. advocate for greater transparency in the fashion industry. Together, we can create a fashion industry that is kind to the planet and its people. A fashion industry that is stylish, sustainable, and just.